Hans Wormhat, thank you to a subscriber for sending me this. This is Groucho Marx on some talk show with Dick Cavett, and openly talking about the gorilla great ape deception. And it's just an example of how they'll talk about it in a joking way, but nobody's ever going to just step out there and say, hey, all gorillas are fursuits, all orangutans are fursuits. They just don't do it like that. They like to just make a joke of it, and they want the in crowd to get a laugh at the expense of those who don't understand the deeper meanings going on here. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to play this clip. I'll link the clip in the description if you want to watch it without me pausing it and talking about it, because I'm going to just make some comments every once in a while.
Anyway, in this picture, we had a gorilla.
Okay, so now to me, gorilla is a trigger word. And this happens for all the major deceptions that you wake up to, at least me personally. After I woke up to flat Earth, when people say the word planet or talk about outer space fantasyland stuff, it just triggers me. And here, I believe that you can see that Dick Cavett is triggered by the word gorilla in the same way where I might be triggered by the way gorilla, just maybe a little differently, because Dick Cavett is like, oh, okay, he's about to talk about this deception. Whereas I just get triggered, okay, now you're just pissing me off because you're talking about something fake. But just watch how Dick Cavett kind of reacts here. All he said is he was working in a film with a gorilla.
It wasn't actually a gorilla.
It wasn't actually a gorilla. There is no such thing as a gorilla.
Gorilla skin with a man inside of it.
Sure.
And he had...
And Dick Cavett there responds, sure. It was a gorilla skin with the man inside of it. Sure, because that's the only thing that exists. There is no such thing as a real gorilla.
A manager. This gorilla skin had a manager. This is true. And we engaged him to bring the pelt over to the studio, and then we engaged a man to go inside of the gorilla skin. And he also had a manager. So we had two managers there for one gorilla. And this skin was awfully hot, you know, with all the lights. And it was in the summer, we were doing this scene. And during lunchtime, the fellow...
Okay, watch Dick Cavett really quick is going to stick his tongue out in a weird way. It's like a serpent's tongue. They do it when some big lie is happening, I think.
Who was in the skin, he went over to the lunchroom and he got an ice pick and he bored about 40 holes in this gorilla skin. And when he came back, he was very comfortable inside of this skin. But the manager got wind of this, the manager of the skin. And he was in a rage. And he says, we're not going to permit this. And he says, give me my skin. Get that guy out of there. And he threw the pelt over his shoulder and walked out of the studio.
Okay, look how important these skins are. The skin has its own manager. They don't want people touching or messing with the skins. This is why gorillas are always immaculate, so clean. That's why the studio photography, the images that we have of gorillas, they're all perfectly clean. Same thing with orangutans, same thing with chimpanzees. They keep these suits immaculate because they're very expensive and they're such a big deal that they have their own managers, the suits. And this just reminds me of how when I was young and I would go to the wild animal park, one thing that I noticed is the koala there was just a stuffed animal. Maybe nowadays they have an animatronic, I don't know. But I also noticed the gorilla enclosure was always empty. They just had this button that you could press that would make a gorilla noise, but the gorilla enclosure, besides being totally covered so you could barely see anything in there, there were never gorillas in there. And gorillas are so rare. Just think of pandas. Why doesn't every zoo have a panda? And then they make up all these backstories. Oh, we can't get them to breed, blah, 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 blah. How can you not inseminate them and do all that? You can breed any animal. Why do you have a hard time with pandas? Why do you have they have a hard time with their fake ones. And they come up with these weird backstories for why. Because they don't want you to think of, why doesn't every zoo have a panda? They should. It's because they're very expensive fursuits. So expensive they might have a manager attached to it, just the suit.
We had about 3 more scenes to do with the gorilla, but we had no skin. So we had 6 people from MGM rushing around San Diego and all around that section of California looking for another monkey. We needed another gorilla, but we couldn't get one. We got an orangutan.
And notice how he's just talking about gorillas and gorilla suits as the same thing. He's not saying we were looking for another gorilla skin. He just keeps saying we're looking for a gorilla. We're looking for a gorilla. Oh, we didn't find a gorilla. We found an orangutan. But again, talking about a suit.
Which is only half the size of a gorilla. Did you know that?
No, but I do now, and I'm glad.
And then we had to get a midget. We had to get a midget to go in this orangutan skin.
Yes, and then what?
And then we got hundreds of letters when the picture come out from fans who said, we don't understand it. The gorilla was this high, and it was only this high in the second half. And we never told them that we had an orangutan with a midget in it.
There you go. Exploiting midgets since the beginning of time. Hollywood. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. All great apes are fake. They're fursuits. Same with pandas. They're fursuits. You'll see people joking about it. Oh, pandas always look like a drunk guy in a suit. It's probably what it is. Probably a drunk tranny in a suit. God bless everybody.